For the most part, former first daughters Malia and Sasha Obama have avoided the spotlight, even when their dad was president. But they've made their share of headlines, even if you may not remember them all. Living in the White House didn't make Sasha or Malia Obama any different from your average moody teenagers. Their dad, former President Barack Obama, told GQ in 2015, "You get these teenage moments, they love you, but what I think really affects you most is they just don't have time for you. It's not an active disdain for you, it's just their calendars start filling up and they've got all these friends who are much more interesting." While Barack admitted this stretch of time would be painful, he was still taking it all in stride. He said, "The compensation you get for the fact that they don't have time for you is nothing beats watching your children become smarter and cooler than you are." Proud mom Michelle Obama echoed this sentiment on Good Morning America in 2022, as the girls led normal-as-possible post-White House lives in their 20s.
It's just fun when you see your kids adulting in the world.
Michelle wrote in her book, The Light We Carry, Overcoming in Uncertain Times, socially speaking, Sasha and Malia are in that slightly wild, slightly ragtag flea market stage of life where new friends are exciting treasures that can be found almost anywhere. The adulting Michelle was talking about involved Malia and Sasha choosing to live together. When Malia moved to Los Angeles in 2021 to pursue a career in Hollywood, Sasha transferred schools to be closer to her big sis. Originally enrolled at the University of Michigan, she switched to the University of Southern California in 2022. The pair soon got a shared apartment in Brentwood, close to the USC campus. Michelle told Today in 2022 the fact that the girls decided to live together was a pleasant surprise.
The thing I love the most is that those two girls are each other's best friend.
The former First Lady added that at one time, Malia and Sasha did not get along, and that she told them one day they'd bond over their very unique shared experience. Michelle also offered some insight into what life is like in her daughter's home. She recalled visiting Malia and Sasha with Barack and being invited for drinks before dinner. She joked that the martinis were a little weak and was surprised when the sisters asked them to use coasters.
You never used a coaster at my house.
In January 2009, just after he was sworn in as the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama was asked by Parade to pen a letter to his kids. In it, he touched on the sacrifices he had to make to pursue his political ambitions. He wrote, "I know how much I've missed these past 2 years. I soon found that the greatest joy in my life was the joy I saw in yours. And I realized that my own life wouldn't count for much unless I was able to ensure that you had every opportunity for happiness and fulfillment in yours. In the end, girls, that's why I ran for president, because of what I want for you and for every child in this nation." Even so, it wasn't an easy decision. In 2017, Barack told ABC News that he and Michelle worried about being able to keep their daughters grounded under such unusual circumstances. Luckily, their fears proved to be unfounded, as Malia and Sasha rose to the challenge, though the girls complained about the Secret Service as teenagers.
They are, sweet, kind, funny, smart, respectful people.
Barack Obama faced his share of hardships, both personal and professional. The then-incumbent president revealed in a 2012 campaign video that the absolute toughest moment in his life was watching his youngest daughter fall ill shortly after she was born.
Sasha got meningitis when she was 3 months old. And I still remember going to the hospital together, and they had to give her a spinal tap.
Barack admitted the ordeal brought him to tears, and Sasha's well-being naturally became his sole focus, saying his world narrowed to a very small point. As Michelle Obama shared in 2013, the illness came on suddenly and shook her to her core. She told Reverend Al Sharpton on his radio show, "I will never forget. 1 hour she was fine, she was normal, she was happy, doing everything I was used to her doing, and the next hour she was crying inconsolably, and that just wasn't like her." Luckily, the Obamas had a great pediatrician who recommended they rush Sasha to the hospital to begin treatment immediately, and Sasha made a full recovery. Lots of American students take a gap year before starting college each year. In fact, Harvard University actually encourages them to. And yet, when Malia Obama chose to do that, her decision stirred up controversy. She graduated from Washington, D.C.'s prestigious Sidwell Friends School in 2016, but decided to defer her admission to Harvard until the fall of 2017. During her time off, Malia vacationed with her family in Indonesia and took part in a 3-month gap year program offered by Where There Be Dragons. For 83 days, she quietly traveled to Bolivia and Peru, where, along with 11 other participants willing to pay $14,555 each, she learned about social movements and conservation efforts. Malia also took part in some pastimes that proved to be a public relations nightmare. During the summer of 2016, a headline-making video surfaced allegedly showing the former first daughter smoking a joint at Lollapalooza. Just a week later, it was revealed that she had been at a wild house party on Martha's Vineyard that was shut down by police. To be fair, scuttlebutt about partying, smoking, and provocative dancing isn't really news unless you're the president's daughter. A source cited by Radar claimed that Barack had to show Malia some tough love. They said, "This is the president's worst nightmare. The end of his term is in sight, and the carefully crafted image of a world-beating family is unraveling right before his eyes." Speaking at the White House Summit on Working Families in June 2014, Michelle Obama revealed she once had to take 4-month-old Sasha with her after the University of Chicago Medical Center called her in for a job interview. "Who I was at the time was a breastfeeding mother of a 4-month-old, and I didn't have a babysitter, so I promptly took Sasha to the interview with me. If you want me to do the job, you've got to pay me to do the job, and you've got to give me flexibility." Michelle went on to become one of the hospital's vice presidents. She said, "It was one of the best experiences that I had because my employer put my family first, and I felt like I owed that hospital because they were supporting me." When Malia Obama celebrated her 16th birthday in 2014, the question on everybody's lips was, who the heck is going to teach her how to drive? Her mom answered that question the following year in an interview with Rachel Ray.
Who taught her?
The Secret Service, actually, because they wouldn't let me in the car with her.
Michelle added that she herself hadn't driven a car in 7 or 8 years, but wanted Malia to be able to, saying, "Driving for Malia, I think, gives her a sense of normalcy, like the rest of her friends are doing, and my kids have got to learn how to live in the world like normal kids." Barack and Michelle Obama actively tried to ensure their daughters had as average a childhood as possible. In 2008, prior to Barack's first presidential win, the couple told People that their children weren't spoiled simply because of their dad's high-profile career. For one, both had chores, from setting the table to cleaning their playroom. As payment, they would sometimes get $1, but even that wasn't guaranteed. Barack explained, speaking of Malia, "Originally, we were giving her $1 a week as long as she did all her chores. It turns out that she's been doing her chores even without prompting from the allowance, which makes me feel guilty." Another surprising revelation was that the Obamas didn't give their kids birthday gifts, but Michelle noted that they did spend hundreds of dollars on parties, and Barack added, "We want to teach some limits to them, and their friends bring over presents." Both sisters also learned about having a good work ethic. In 2016, 15-year-old Sasha got a summer job at Nancy's, a seafood restaurant on Martha's Vineyard. TMZ learned she was bussing tables and manning the register for 4 hours a day and earning $12 to $15 per hour like everyone else. Meanwhile, when Malia was 15 in 2014, she interned as a production assistant on Halle Berry's CBS sci-fi series, Extant. If Malia and Sasha Obama thought moving to the White House meant getting waited on hand and foot, they were in for a rude awakening. Their parents made sure the girls kept a strict schedule that included an 8 o'clock sharp bedtime and a routine of daily chores. Indeed, these former first kids were still expected to perform tasks like make their own beds, clean up their dogs' bathroom piles, and get themselves ready in the mornings for school. Michelle said in the Netflix documentary Becoming,
I had to beg the housekeepers, these girls have to learn how to clean their own rooms and make their beds and do their laundry.
It's unclear whether the Obama sisters' allowance for doing chores in the White House remained as slim as the $1 per week they'd earned previously, but in 2010, Barack opened up to Good Morning America about using their allowance as a means for Malia and Sasha to learn about managing their finances. He said, "They're starting to get old enough where they may be able to earn some money babysitting. They've got their own savings accounts. And if they didn't stay on top of their household duties," Michelle told Yahoo Shine, "they don't get their allowance until they can prove that they've done their chores for the week." The Obama sisters did get a very nice thank you gift from their parents after Barack won his bid for the White House, a Portuguese water dog named Bo Diddley. The adorable animal was a gift from Senator Ted Kennedy and fit the family's criteria for a desired breed. Namely, he was a hypoallergenic dog, which was of chief importance because Malia is allergic to dogs. The girls named Bo after a friend's cat named Bo, as well as Michelle Obama's father, who was nicknamed Diddley. The former first family added a second dog, Sunny, in 2013 to help fill the void left by Malia and Sasha Obama growing up and not having as much time for Bo or their parents. Barack told CNN, "Bo is getting lonely because the 2 other puppies are grown up, and they still have some responsibilities for him, but they're not always around between school, sports practice, all that stuff. And so Bo was getting a little down in the dumps inside the house." Sadly, Bo died of cancer in 2021, Michelle Obama announced on Instagram. Barack tweeted at the time, "Today our family lost a true friend and loyal companion. For more than a decade, Bo was a constant, gentle presence in our lives, happy to see us on our good days, our bad days, and every day in between. Former President Barack Obama is a big fan of basketball and football, but his daughter's preferred recreational activity is tennis. Michelle Obama told crowds at the 2013 U.S. Open that she nudged her kids onto the court because of her own lack of access to the sport when she was growing up. It's a great way to stay healthy, to stay fit. It's a lifelong sport. It's something I've tried to tell my kids. I forced them into playing tennis because I didn't want them to be like me, but it's a great way to stay active.
I've made it a point to introduce my kids to the sport early on because I want them to have exposure and options.
The former First Lady also told the New York Times that one of her rules for her daughters was to play 2 sports, one they enjoyed and one they didn't pick. She said, "I want them to understand what it feels like to do something you don't like and to improve." Malia, in particular, became very good at tennis and was even considered to be on track for a potential college career in it. Malia Obama is one of an estimated 15 million people in the U.S. who speak Spanish as a second language. She's put it to good use on multiple occasions. For example, when the Obama family visited Cuba and Argentina in 2016, Barack told ABC News that his eldest did much of the talking and translating, saying,
Her Spanish is much better than mine, and I'm hoping that she has a chance to get entirely fluent.
Several more opportunities presented themselves that same year. For one, ABC Spain reported that Malia would spend her summer as an intern in the U.S. Embassy in Madrid, Spain. She then headed to Peru and Bolivia for her 3-month gap year program. And her command of the language came in handy as she lived with a family in Tiquipaya, Bolivia. One of her guides, Gregorio Mamani, told the New York Times, "She was very humble, chatty, spoke Spanish very well." Malia was immersed in Spanish during a 2012 Sidwell Friends School class trip to Oaxaca, Mexico. While there, students volunteered at an orphanage, visited archaeological sites, and practiced their language skills. Malia and Sasha have been exceptionally good at keeping their love lives under wraps, for the most part. In 2022, actor Clifton Powell confirmed that his son, Clifton Powell Jr., had been dating Sasha for over a year, and Malia was linked to music producer Dawood Eklund. We don't know much else about the relationships other than Barack is a typical worried dad. In 2015, he told GQ about watching his daughters grow up and start dating. "I've seen some folks glancing at Malia in ways that made me not happy." In 2016, he joked with WDCJ Radio that at least he had the Secret Service on his side. They necessarily accompanied the first daughters on dates, but the then POTUS quipped, "There's only so much these guys can do." In 2021, Barack revealed more to James Corden.
They still have PTSD from guys, talking into their, wrist microphones and glasses.
On a more serious note, Barack told WDCJ that he hoped his own actions toward Michelle Obama taught their daughters how they should be treated. He applauded his wife for being the ultimate role model. Barack and Michelle Obama have faced the difficult challenge of raising kids in the age of social media. Speaking to Barbara Walters in 2013, Michelle revealed that Malia, then 15, had been limited to Facebook only, while Sasha, then 12, wasn't allowed on social media at all. "I still am not a big believer in Facebook for young people, particularly for them because they're in the public eye, so we try to protect them from too much of the public voice." By 2016, it seemed their tight leash may have loosened a bit. Barack let slip that Sasha had access to X, formerly Twitter. As of the making of this video, Malia and Sasha's social media accounts seem to be secret and set to private. And good luck trying to find them online. Even Mom Michelle told Oprah Winfrey in 2020 that she didn't follow her daughter's accounts. Both Malia and Sasha Obama have excelled at their studies. After finishing high school in D.C., Malia decided to attend Harvard University and major in visual and environmental studies. Barack Obama once described her to the New York Times as a capable, conscientious student, and upon graduating in 2021, she received an award from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences for excellent undergraduate work and excellence in the art of teaching. Sasha graduated from the University of Southern California in 2023 with a degree in sociology, and it seems she's just as serious about academics as her big sister. While we don't know of any prizes she may have received, Sasha actually made headlines in 2017 when she missed her dad's farewell speech in Chicago because school came first. A senior official told CNN that Sasha missed the speech because she had a science exam the following morning, and that was much more important. When Malia's parents dutifully dropped her off at Harvard in 2017, Barack reportedly had a tough time keeping his composure, telling a crowd,
"I was proud that I did not cry in front of her."
But he did admit that in the car, the Secret Service had to ignore him sniffing and blowing his nose. For a man who managed to lead the free world through many tough trials, it sounds like it's the home front that always mattered most to him. 2 years later, Michelle Obama opened up to people about getting Sasha Obama settled in her college dorm room, noting that it was understandably a little emotional and that the tough part is missing our girls. The proud mom added, "We wanted to make it feel as normal as possible, given our family circumstances." It may surprise some to know that despite the fact that their parents were our political rivals, Chelsea Clinton and Ivanka Trump once enjoyed a long friendship with one another. The trials of the 2016 presidential election changed things for a bit, but an incident involving Malia Obama seemed to reunite these fellow first daughters on the issue of privacy for the president's children. After Malia was photographed in a private moment of affection with her then-boyfriend Rory Farquharson, both Clinton and Trump called out the unwanted attention in quick succession on X in November 2017. Trump tweeted, "Malia Obama should be allowed the same privacy as her school-aged peers. She is a young adult and private citizen and should be off limits." Clinton followed with a similar message, writing, "Malia Obama's private life as a young woman, a college student, a private citizen should not be your clickbait. Be better." When it came time to celebrate Malia and Sasha Obama's milestone 16th birthdays, their parents went all out. Malia turned 16 in 2014, and to celebrate, she took a birthday trip to Disneyland, where she was treated to VIP access to several rides. After that, Michelle and Barack Obama threw her a big bash, and to top it all off, she also got a car. Sasha celebrated her sweet 16 in 2017. She had a lavish party attended by friends, as well as her proud parents. Photos of the fancy affair leaked online, showing the teen looking beautiful in a red silk dress from Jill Stewart, and fans couldn't get enough. One fan praised her look, tweeting that it was too much greatness, while another gushed on X, "I just want to say that Sasha Obama is it." When David Letterman interviewed a just-out-of-office Barack Obama in 2017 on his Netflix show My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, the venerable late-night host recounted a never-before-told story about a run-in he'd had with Malia Obama, when the two briefly crossed paths at a function at the White House. Letterman introduced himself and thanked her for the invitation to the party.
And she says, "Yeah, you look like a guy who really knows how to party."
For his part, the funny man told Barack that he absolutely loved the witty dig. The anecdote also got a huge laugh from the ex-POTUS, who said that Malia is a riot. Given Malia's celebrity status, it should come as no surprise that she's often approached by strangers wanting to snap a selfie. In 2017, Michelle spoke about the public obligations Malia and Sasha have had to face while attending the marketing conference Inbound. Sources at the closed Q&A event told People that Michelle revealed how Malia was struggling, with as many as 20 to 30 people asking her for photos every single day. Michelle noted that while her daughters often decline photo requests, they're always gracious. But Malia does agree to the occasional snap. In 2014, BuzzFeed News noted that she was spotted at Chicago's Lollapalooza Music Festival and agreed to pose for a photo with one attendee, although she politely turned down another. However, Malia, like most young people, isn't immune to taking her own selfies, which has also proved problematic. In 2015, The Independent reported that the White House was actually investigating how the rap collective Pro Era got an alleged selfie of Malia wearing one of their shirts, which they posted to Instagram to help sell the tea. Barack hadn't even been in office as president for a month before his family faced their first giant scandal. Beanie Babies seemingly ripping them off. Okay, maybe it was less of a priority than, say, the economy at the time, but Michelle Obama still took the time to call out the collectible plush toy maker over its Sweet Sasha and Marvelous Malia dolls. According to the New York Times, the doll maker, Ty Incorporated, quote, insisted that the dolls were not intended to depict the Obama girls, but the White House wasn't buying it. A statement from the office of the then First Lady expressed displeasure with the use of young private citizens for marketing purposes. Ty apparently didn't want to get on the wrong side of the White House, so the company retired the dolls 1 month after it started making them, a move that a spokesperson for Michelle said was appreciated. In 2016, both Malia and Sasha Obama were invited to be bridesmaids in the wedding of two longtime Obama administration staffers. The former first daughters stood alongside Kristen Jarvis, Michelle Obama's former chief of staff, and Sean West, a former Secret Service agent, as they exchanged vows. Though the couple made its wedding announcement behind a pin-protected account on the knot, the Daily Mail reported that Jarvis went out of her way to compliment Sasha, reportedly referring to her as one of the sweetest and downright coolest people. Jarvis also was said to have written, Sasha and I have had a big sister-little sister relationship since the very beginning, and there is nothing I wouldn't do for this girl, and I know she would do the same for me. TMZ reported that the nuptials reportedly cost $300,000 and featured entertainment from R&B artists like Eric Benet, Kenny Lattimore, and Letterman. So even if the Obama sisters had to wear hideous bridesmaids dresses, at least they got to do it at a pretty swanky party. When Barack's 2 terms as president concluded, it seemed likely that the family would eventually return to their home state of Illinois. However, when he was asked about moving in March 2016, the then president admitted he wasn't sure what their future held. ABC News quoted him as saying, "We haven't figured that out yet. We're gonna have to stay a couple of years in DC, probably, so that Sasha can graduate, because transferring somebody in the middle of high school is tough." The New York Times reported that Barack and Michelle decided to rent an 8,200 square foot 9-bedroom mansion in the Kalorama neighborhood for a cool $22,000 a month. Initially, the plan was to stay put in DC until Sasha graduated from Sidwell Friends School in 2019. But it seems they liked their new lifestyle more than expected. In May 2017, they bought the home for $8.1 million, with Barack's spokesman, Kevin Lewis, telling the Chicago Sun-Times, "Given that President and Mrs. Obama will be in Washington for at least another 2.5 years, it made sense for them to buy a home rather than continuing to rent property." In her first interview since leaving the White House, Michelle shed some light on the family's new living arrangements, and it turns out Sasha was the big winner. Michelle told Ellen DeGeneres, "Sasha actually killed in this house. She's got this 2-room suite, it's all decked out, she's got like a living room area and a bedroom, and she designed it." As for how Malia made out, Michelle said, "She got a room up in the attic somewhere. She's away at college. You don't waste rooms on college kids." According to Barack Obama, the 2016 election of Donald Trump to succeed their dad in the Oval Office was a bummer to his daughters because they believed in the messages of support he and Michelle had offered on behalf of Hillary Clinton during the campaign. The ex-president told USA Today, "They were disappointed. They paid attention to what their mom said during the campaign and believed it, because it's consistent with what we've tried to teach them in our household, what I've tried to model as a father with their mom, and what we've asked them to expect from future boyfriends or spouses." He added that he and Michelle have tried to foster resilience in their daughters, saying, "They have not assumed that because their side didn't win or because some of the values that they care about don't seem as if they were vindicated, that automatically America has somehow rejected them or rejected their values." All that said, don't be too surprised if Malia and Sasha Obama don't follow in their father's footsteps into politics. In 2021, the man himself revealed on The Late Late Show that his daughters preferred to express their views in different ways, like protests.
I think they are probably going to find other ways to serve.
By the time a then 18-year-old Malia Obama and 15-year-old Sasha Obama left the White House in January 2017, they'd experienced elite international travel, interactions with some of Hollywood's heaviest hitters, and a rare inside look at the inner workings of the U.S. government at its highest level. But when it came time to say goodbye to Pennsylvania Avenue, they did it in the most low-key and relatable way possible, a sleepover with friends. Michelle told Today that her kids simply wanted pizza and nuggets for the 8 girlfriends they invited over on the family's last night in the White House. Asked whether leaving was difficult for the Obama sisters, Michelle said, "So that moment of transition, right before the doors opened and we welcomed in the new family, our kids were leaving out the back door in tears, saying goodbye to people." Malia and Sasha Obama love music, and that should come as no surprise given their dad's penchant for crafting headline-making playlists. As it turns out, though, it's Barack's daughters who inspire his taste. The former president told Snapchat in 2020 they play a big role in his song selection, saying, "I will confess that I do consult with Malia and Sasha throughout the year. I'm constantly listening to their music, sometimes by request and sometimes just because that's what's blaring in our house." He also revealed that of the two sisters, Sasha is more into indie finds and even has a private playlist on SoundCloud that he's not allowed to listen to. One artist they'll always agree on, though, is Drake. In a 2020 Complex interview, Barack praised his talent and was all for the rapper playing him in a biopic.
Drake has, more importantly, I think, my household's stamp of approval. I suspect Malia and Sasha would be just fine with it.
No word on whether Drake's 2024 beef with Kendrick Lamar, another Obama family favorite, has changed things. Barack has spoken openly about his struggle to quit smoking. In a 2009 press conference, he admitted,
As a former smoker, I constantly struggle with it. Have I fallen off the wagon sometimes? Yes.
but never smoked in the house or in front of his kids, and it wasn't a daily occurrence. Stress has understandably been a major trigger for the former president. He revealed in his 2020 memoir, A Promised Land, he could smoke as many as 7 cigarettes per day when things got hectic. That number went up to 10 with the pressures of being president, CNN notes. In the end, Barack decided to quit entirely because he couldn't stand the fact that daughter Malia, quote, frowned when smelling a cigarette on his breath. Perhaps ironically then, Malia herself has since taken up the habit, despite dissuading her dad and once wearing a DIY shirt that read "Smoking Kills." Page 6 spotted Malia smoking a cigarette outside a convenience store in Los Angeles in October 2023, and she received plenty of flack online, with folks claiming she was a hypocrite. Just weeks prior, Page 6 also photographed Sasha smoking a cigarette while leaving a Labor Day party in Los Angeles. Again, some folks turned to criticism, but others rushed to the Obama sisters' defense on Instagram, with several calls for people to mind their own business. Malia Obama is serious about writing in Hollywood, and she was okay starting at the bottom. In 2014, she landed her first gig working as a production assistant on Halle Berry's TV series Extant. According to TMZ, she ran coffee errands and helped crew stop people from walking into shots. After landing a summer internship under Lena Dunham on the set of Girls in 2015, she worked in the New York office of the Weinstein Company 2 years later, where she was tasked with reading scripts and choosing which ones were worth showing to execs. The former first daughter's first major opportunity came from Donald Glover, who put her in the writer's room for his Amazon thriller series Swarm. He told Vanity Fair in 2022, "I feel like she's just somebody who's gonna have really good things coming soon." Glover was impressed by Malia's work ethic and her writing, as was series co-creator Janine Neighbors. So much so, they let her pen an entire episode titled Girl Bye. Neighbors told Entertainment Tonight, "It is probably one of the wildest episodes. Some of her pitches were wild as hell, and they were just so good and so funny. She's an incredible writer." Glover also decided to mentor Malia and produce her debut short film. Not that he'd let her off easy. As he told GQ, he made it clear, "You're Obama's daughter, so if you make a bad film, it will follow you around."